All right, so tomorrow we are going to be going into lesson 24. We are subtracting measurements using the standard algorithm to decompose larger units across two place values. So this one's, we're shifting a little bit from lesson 22 and 23. So key questions we'll be able to answer are: when is the standard algorithm a useful subtraction strategy, and how is it helpful to unbundle all the units before subtracting? So of course, here's our fluency. So I've made a few changes with fluency. We're not going to start doing fluency for bell work so that it feels like it's a little bit more separated. So I will be doing... Where are my problems? Here we go. I don't know why that's taking... Okay, I'm supposed to have problems on here, but I don't know why they're taking forever to load. Here we go. So students will be doing these for bell work tomorrow. Hopefully they display. But what I want to show you guys here in this section, we worked a lot today on using place value chart to help us subtract, and a lot of us were just a little bit confused, but then it started to make sense the more we practiced it. So students are going to be going home with a little bit of practice work today. It will count for an effort grade, but I would love for them to turn it in on Wednesday just so that they have some time to practice more at home. And on here, so we could say this is just part of our class discussion. The standard algorithm is the best way to subtract. So this is going to be used for class discussion as we try to remember all the different strategies that we've learned. For addition, those are also able to be used in subtraction. So that's where our discussion here is going to go through. And then here, so the point of this lesson is to practice using various strategies to subtract. So we're not just going to have the place value chart anymore. So now we're bringing back all the other strategies that we've learned throughout, previous lessons. So here we have Amy has 803 milliliters of juice. Ray has 587 milliliters of juice. How many fewer millimeters of juice does Ray have than Amy? So we will be guiding our students to help come up with that subtraction equation. And they will be asked, what expression can we write to find how many fewer millimeters of juice Ray has than Amy? So of course they have the horizontal form, they have vertical form. So students will be asked to write it either way. And then that's where we're going to get into this next strategy. So when we rename across 0, and I'm going to work on this on a whiteboard. Let me just grab my marker. So if my whiteboard were cleaner, it would be nicer, but I'm so sorry. We are going to go ahead and do Amy. Oops, if I could spell. Has 803 milliliters. And then Ray has 587 milliliters. So we are looking for this gap here. That next part that we're going to do is, so this is multiple steps here. 100s, 10s, 1s. So we are going to be putting in 803. So at this point, students should have 803 minus 587. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have nothing in the tens, and then 3 here. So this is how we display 103. The next step that we're going to do, and we'll do this in class, is and I'll help guide it. How do we subtract 587 from 803? So this is where we start to unbundle those zeros, which we did do a lot of today in class. So hopefully this tomorrow will be easier. We need to bring a hundreds over here. And then we also need to bring one of these tens to the ones. When we do this, we're now able to subtract. So now I need to subtract 7. And I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we are subtracting 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're left with 1. And we need to subtract 5. Oops. I want 1 over. Okay. And we are left with 217. So we did have a few students get confused with this one today, but when I explained to them why they're like, for this one, when we started in 803, there was nothing in the tens, but that's because if we look at our place value, we have a 0. So the only way to represent that there is a 0 here is by leaving it blank, and that's where we start to borrow. So that's what we're doing in class tomorrow. That's part of it. This is going to be the second question that they're going to be doing. And then in this section, they have 2 other problems. Essentially, I want them to do the same thing that we just did on the whiteboard. Let me pick this up a little bit. So this is what their work should look like. And these are going to be their 2 problems that they have here. Once that's completed, we will get into our workbook for lesson 24. And again, it's just subtracting, and they're showing their strategies. So here, I would like to see most of them use the place value chart, but it is not just limited to the place value chart. They can use vertical, they can use the number bond, the tape diagram, any strategy, but I am going to challenge them to try to do at least half in the place value chart. On this next one, we start to get a little bit more complex just because we have our table here and we have a word problem. These are not our strong points, but I think we can get to making these be easier, especially with this lesson. So I would, if we don't get time to do this in class, I would like students to take this part home and get to work on it with you guys at home. And then, of course, the exit ticket is a word problem. Shen has 392 more grams of raisins than Amy. Shen has 700 grams of raisins. How many grams of raisins does Amy have? So what I expect to see on this exit ticket is the correct expression for their equation, and then they can do it vertical form if they would like to start off that way to make sure that they get the right answer. But I am expecting here the place value chart. So on lesson 24's exit ticket, I would like to see them do their place value chart. They can have another strategy to help guide them, but they will be getting points based off of their place value chart. So I hope this helps. And they all were sent home with pages today from our book that we did not have time to do. So just I did let students know to bring that in on Wednesday so that I can check, their work, make sure that they understood it. And of course, if they have questions, they can write it down next to any of the problems. That way I can follow through with them.